8. The 100-year-old house. This first case comes from a woman named Sydney. Her profile is pretty ordinary. Family videos, everyday life, nothing really connected to ghosts or the paranormal. But after moving into a house that was around 100 years old, she started noticing things that were much harder to explain. One of those moments happened while she was filming her younger sister watching cartoons. Then, something suddenly changed.
SpongeBob night.
SpongeBob's awesome.
Liam, come here. Liam, right now. What is happening? Okay, I'm calling your mom. Just stay right here.
Out of nowhere, a rocking chair starts moving back and forth with surprising force, even though there doesn't seem to be anything causing it. After the video went viral, Sydney posted another clip where she talked a little more about the house and what had been happening there.
Hey guys, it's Sydney and Liam here. You all probably remember Liam. Anyway, just wanted to tell you guys, like, I'm not here to convince anybody to believe in it. That's totally fine if you don't. I appreciate your opinion.
Yeah, she is.
She wants to talk too. But I did want to show you guys something that was sent to me a few days after I posted the original video. This was sent to me from the old owners of this house, their granddaughter. So before my family and I moved in, which was 2.5 years ago, before we moved in here, this house was actually owned by the same family ever since it was built. And it was built in 1924. So, like I said, I will leave you with this message and feel free to believe what you want.
Eventually, she decided to install security cameras around the home, hoping they might help her understand what was actually going on. And before long, they captured something else. While the family was sitting together in the living room, several objects suddenly came tumbling down the stairs for no obvious reason. Everyone immediately rushed over, clearly confused about what had just happened. But the strange activity didn't end there. Later, during the middle of the night, one of the cameras was recording the kitchen. The room was empty and completely still. Then, without anyone entering the frame, something started to happen. The upper kitchen cabinets slowly began opening on their own. There was no one nearby, and the doors didn't suddenly swing open. Instead, they moved gradually, almost as if they were opening together. What makes the footage harder to dismiss is how much of the kitchen the camera actually shows. There are no obvious blind spots, no one visible in the room, and the cabinet doors move smoothly enough that it doesn't immediately look like someone is pulling them with a string. Of course, there could still be a normal explanation for all of this. But old houses have a way of making strange events feel even stranger. A home that has been standing for a century has seen generations of people come and go, along with countless moments we'll never know anything about. And maybe that's why, inside a place with that much history, every unexplained sound or movement seems to carry a little more weight. 7. The dog caught on camera. The next case was shared by a woman named Kimber. On TikTok, she usually posts videos about her workout routine, moments with her son, and clips of the family dog. Sadly, not long before this recording, Kimber had lost her dog. Then, while going through footage from an indoor security camera inside her home, she noticed something that immediately hit her emotionally. What makes this even stranger is that the camera never detected any movement, so it didn't record a normal video. Instead, this particular camera automatically takes still images at different points throughout the day, even when no motion is detected. While Kimber was looking through the app's timeline, she noticed something unusual in one of the images captured at exactly 4:34 p.m. Near the gate separating the living room from the dining area, there appears to be the outline of something that looks remarkably similar to a dog. At first, it's subtle enough that you could easily miss it, but once the image is zoomed in, the shape starts to look a lot like the dog Kimber had lost only a month earlier. Because the camera never registered any movement, that single frame was all it captured. There was no video showing where the figure came from or where it went afterward. Of course, it's possible that a shadow, reflection, or even an object inside the house happened to create a shape that looked like a dog. But for Kimber, finding that image so soon after losing her pet felt like more than just a coincidence. Maybe it was nothing more than a strange camera glitch, or maybe that was the last time her dog appeared inside the house. 6. The figures at 3 a.m. In Mexico, a father was woken up sometime around 3 in the morning when his daughter suddenly came into his room, clearly frightened. She told him she had been hearing what sounded like children's voices near her bedroom and was too scared to go back to sleep. What made the situation even more unsettling was that this wasn't the first time it had happened. According to the father, she had heard the same thing the night before. So this time, he decided to take a closer look around the house. While checking an open area outside, he ended up recording something he couldn't easily explain.
Pero ¿cómo se va a escuchar risa de niña y hija? A ver, páusale esa madre, ¿eh? Páusale esa. ¿Cómo? A ver, ven amor. La verga si me da miedo. Shh, cállate. Espérate, no. ¿Dónde escuchaste las voces? Pero se escuchan voces.
¿Risas? ¿Risas?
A ver, ¿pero dónde? Espérate, José, no te asomes. ¿Dónde, hija? ¿Atrás dónde?
Allá.
A ver, apaga el foco, como no se mira nada. Apágalo.
Mira.
¿Dónde más?
Allá.
¿Qué quieres ver, José Chuy? Ay, viste la...
¿Qué es eso?
Espérate.
¿Qué es eso?
No sé.
¿Qué es eso?
¿Qué verga es?
No te agarra la cámara bien.
¿Dónde agarran? No sé.
Oh, ¿qué es eso?
No sé. Vete para allá, ahorita, ve, siéntate en la cama.
Mamá, ¿qué es eso?
¿Qué es eso? No mames, ¿qué pedo con la pinche cámara? ¿Sí, mira?
Es que no se mira nomás que la cámara. Nomás se mira la cámara porque sin la cámara no se mira.
A la verga, Yaren.
In the footage, two small dark shapes can be seen moving through the frame, almost appearing and disappearing as the camera points toward them. The family believed there might be something paranormal going on because even though it was extremely dark and already past 3 in the morning, the camera was still able to capture the colors and details of trees and other objects much farther away. The two figures, however, remained almost completely featureless. Of course, low-light cameras can create strange visual distortions, so there may be a perfectly normal explanation for what we're seeing. Still, when you combine the time of night, what the girl said she had been hearing, and the way those shapes seemed to move, it's easy to understand why the footage left so many people wondering. What do you think those figures were? 5. The camera alert. This footage was captured by a security camera inside a man's home, but he had no idea anything had happened until he was already on his way back. Earlier that day, he had gone out with his nephew, who was staying with him for a few days. As far as he knew, the house was empty and everything had been locked up before they left. Then, on the way home, he received a motion alert from inside the house. At first, he didn't think much of it. Security cameras can send false notifications for all kinds of reasons, so he figured it was probably just a glitch. But then he opened the app and checked the footage.
D. Front. Door. Center. Center is open. Disarm now. Disarm now.
The recording shows an open door and what appears to be someone, or something, inside the house. After he posted the footage online, people immediately started trying to explain what they were seeing. Some believed there was simply a person hiding inside. Others thought the whole thing might have been staged, or that someone had quickly stepped into the room before moving out of view, and any of those explanations could be possible. But there's one detail that makes the footage especially creepy: the eyes. If this was just a person standing there, what caused their eyes to reflect the camera like that? Why do they seem to glow so strangely in the darkness? Maybe it's nothing more than the camera catching the light at just the right angle. Maybe someone really was inside the house. Or maybe that motion alert picked up something that was never supposed to be there. 4. The screams. Security cameras pick up strange things all the time. A reflection, a shadow, an insect flying too close to the lens. Most of it usually has a simple explanation, but every once in a while, a recording comes along that's a little harder to dismiss. This video was shared by a woman named Nancy. She had gone away to spend Christmas with her family, leaving her house completely empty. Her security cameras stayed on while she was gone, simply as a precaution. At some point, one of them captured something she definitely wasn't expecting.
Get out!
A loud scream suddenly breaks the silence. It sounds intense, almost like someone is either in pain or completely terrified. And the more closely people listened to the recording, the stranger it became. Some viewers believed they could actually make out words in the scream, as if the voice was saying, "Get out."
Get out!
What makes the recording especially unsettling is that nothing else happens. There's no movement anywhere in the frame, no figure, no shadow, and nothing that might explain where the sound came from. According to Nancy, the cameras didn't capture anything else unusual during that time. Naturally, people came up with possible explanations. Some thought it could have been noise from the plumbing, while others suggested an animal somewhere outside the house. And maybe one of those explanations is right. But if the sound really does say, "Get out," then the question becomes a little harder to ignore. Was it just a random noise that happened to sound like words? Or was something inside that empty house actually trying to send a warning? 3. The child. This next case comes from Peru, and it was recorded inside a bank. There's nothing about the place that looks creepy or abandoned. In fact, that's part of what makes the footage so strange. The recording was captured after business hours when the bank was already closed and only employees were supposed to be inside. 2 workers can be seen standing in a hallway, talking like everything is completely normal. Then something passes behind them.
Al fondo. Es por donde hubo el incendio, ¿cómo? Avenida Argentina.
Hay tres, pues hay tres.
Oye, oye, huevón, en la cámara acaba de pasar ahorita una niña corriendo.
¿Ah, sí?
Oye, la niña que llora.
Mentiroso.
Oye, te juro que en la cámara acaba de pasar ahorita corriendo, una niña. Oye, ha corrido hacia acá. Oye, te juro que ha pasado ahorita una niña corriendo. Ahorita mira, te voy a enseñar el video.
A child suddenly appears walking through the hallway. At first, there doesn't seem to be anything unusual about it. The figure simply walks past as if they belong there. But only a few seconds later, the child is gone. There's no clear doorway they enter, no corner they disappear behind, and nothing in the footage explains where they went. And that's what makes the video so unsettling. The bank was supposed to be closed, and there shouldn't have been any children inside in the first place. So who was that child? And how did they disappear so quickly? 2. The figure inside the museum. This next video surfaced on TikTok around 3 years ago and appears to show security footage from a museum in Kazakhstan. At roughly 7:30 that evening, the guards were watching the surveillance cameras as usual when something unusual caught their attention in one of the hallways.
Iya, көрдіңіз ба, призрак жүр.
Храм жабық тұр.
Храм жабық тұр, иә.
Мен жауып кеттім ғой.
Сіз шынап ход жасап жауып келдіңіз. Қайта сізге көрінбепті жаңа, көрінгенде сіздің есіңіз шығады деді. Бұны көрдіңіз ба? Елес жүр ғой, елес, призрак. бәсе өткенде мен түнгі сағат 1-лерде көргем.
A pale, almost transparent figure can be seen slowly moving through the museum. Its shape looks somewhat human, but the way it crosses the room is what makes the footage so strange. The guards were clearly caught off guard by what appeared on the monitor, and since they couldn't immediately identify it, they began wondering whether the camera had captured something paranormal. As far as we know, there has never been a confirmed explanation for what appears in the recording. It could be a reflection, a camera artifact, or some unusual effect caused by the lighting. But if none of those explanations fit, then what exactly walked through that hallway that night? 1. The playpen. This footage was captured by a baby monitor at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. According to the child's mother, Kristen, she had placed her young daughter in a playpen with a few toys while she took care of some chores around the house. Like she usually did, she left the TV on to keep her entertained, then stepped away for a few minutes. But while she was out of the room, the camera captured something very unusual. For much of the recording, the little girl stares at the same spot in the room. At times, she even blows kisses, as if she's interacting with someone who isn't visible. Then, a baby bottle part suddenly appears inside the playpen. A few moments later, another bottle is tossed toward the child. Confused by what she saw, Kristen went upstairs to check the room.
Okay, so this is my daughter's playpen that she was in when the bottle thing happened. So she was standing right here. The stem would have fallen about here. And as you can see, like directly in front of that on the other side is the toy bin where the bottle had landed. It landed about here. There's nothing around that the bottles could have come from, especially because like they landed straight down. So there's a little dresser, and then over there, in there is where the dressing room is, which is where the bottles were, where I put everything before I went downstairs to take everything out. So really no explanation. There's the monitor that caught it.
After searching the room, she couldn't find any explanation for what had happened, so she decided to share the footage online. Kristen's grandmother believes it may have been a sign from Kristen's late mother, watching over the family. Kristen, however, doesn't jump to any conclusions. She simply hopes that whatever happened in that room wasn't something that could harm her daughter. In the end, the footage continues to divide opinions. Some see it as something paranormal, while others believe it's nothing more than a very strange coincidence. Bonus: the gas station screams. For this last clip, we're heading to Brazil. A gas station employee was working the overnight shift by himself when the silence was suddenly broken by a scream somewhere outside. The place was empty at the time, with no customers around, so hearing someone yell in the middle of the night immediately caught his attention. He couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from, so he grabbed his phone and decided to go check it out while recording.
Posso daí, eu tenho que ficar de madrugada, ó. Né? Fui no banheiro. Ei, saia por aqui. Mas não abre isso aqui, ó. Mas o que você quer fazer aí dentro? Daí o banheiro toma banho. O quê? Aí é o banheiro toma banho. O que a senhora quer fazer aí dentro?
When I first saw this, I genuinely thought he was about to find something creepy waiting for him in the dark. A ghost, some strange figure, basically anything except what was actually there. As it turns out, the screaming was coming from an elderly woman who had gone into the restroom and somehow couldn't find her way back out. What makes the whole thing even better is how calmly the employee went looking for the source of the noise. He seemed almost disappointed that there wasn't anything paranormal waiting for him. So after all the disturbing clips we've seen, at least this one gave us a completely different ending. Not exactly terrifying, but definitely memorable. If you think these videos were disturbing, the one on your screen right now has even more footage that's difficult to explain. Click on it and keep watching. I'll see you there.